Right, hi guys, welcome back to Bikes, Boats and Bits. This week we're going to have a look at the Harley clutch, or more to the point, have a look at making a tool to remove the Harley clutch and the front sprocket carrier. So let's take a look at that now. As you can see, we've been in already and got the cover and everything off. So all it needs now is we need a peg spanner for here, and we need a bar to go across here that screws into the casing on this point and this point, so then we can release the last three nuts off of the clutch and allow that to unload the spring. Then we can undo the centre nut and we can get the clutch off, and likewise it has to come off with this half as well. It all comes off in one unit. Once that's all off, we can access the trap door, which you can see behind it, to find out what the actual gearbox issues are. I mean, I will say, in the primary side alone, I don't know if you can see that, that came out of the primary side. So I'm not sure what that is or was, but it's pretty chewed. So yeah, something's gone wrong in here, and all we've got to do is find out what and how to fix it, of course. So for the peg spanner, what I'm going to use is a couple of 10mm bolts. They're a little bit oversized, so I need to turn the end down to about 9mm. What I've done to hold a bolt in the chuck, as you can see, I've wound a nut down fairway so you can grip on both the nut and the bolt, so we can turn this down. And then once that's done, we'll get some flat bar, drill it accordingly, and that should be the first tool manufactured. You can see, this is what we've now got. That's quite a nice fit in there. So we'll go in either of them. The work date is actually just a little bit under 8mm. By the time I found my verniers to measure the holes properly. So there we have it, that's those. So now we've got to get a measurement across the centre, get some flat bar, probably cut it to about yay long, and drill that, and that's the peg spanner made. Okay, we've made the spanner for this. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked. That is, if you can see that, that is twisting out all over the place. This is excruciatingly tight, and I'm now not sure which way. This is a left-hand thread or a right-hand thread. Right, okay, so basically what it was when we was hitting this, the spring here was taking the shock out. I just put a piece of pipe on the end so I could pull the tension up on the spring, have a hammer shaft wedged in there like that to lock it off, then give that a couple of clouts, and it has in fact come loose, which is difficult to show you because I can't, yeah, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, that is now undoing. I'm not going to stand behind this or sit behind this until I know, yeah, it's alright, this pressure's off. So that's that piece off, that's that piece off, so that sits in there as well. So that's all free to come off. Excellent. So we're just sitting as he should be, and now we'll move on to making the tool for this piece. I've sort of given it a look. If it wasn't for the fact the chain is on it, we could actually use a puller, sort of like a 2 or 3 legged puller to do it, but because the chain's there, I think we're going to have to do it the way Harley intended. It's not too difficult, so we'll crack on with that next. Right, what you can see there is I'm making some standoffs. We need a 1/4 by 20 UNC thread. So I've turned this down, I think it's 20mm bar. I've turned down so we've got 6.35mm there, which is pretty much on the money. I'm used to working in metric, so obviously I always go with the metric weight. All my micrometers are metric. As you can see, I'll just take a measurement. That's 6.37, so that is pretty much on the money. What I will do is I'll come back up here with some with a quarter die. It's easier than single point threading. I haven't got a lot of tips left for threading, so unless I really need to, and I do have a tie, then we'll do it. So all we're going to do now is turn that around, do exactly the same the other end. Now we can part them off, drill, tap for, I'll see what size bolts I've got, maybe 8 mils, something like that, to make the rest of it up with. So obviously I've got loads and loads of metric taps, etc. What I don't have is a lot of imperial bolts or imperial gear at all. So hence why, again, just a little side note, if you're new to machining or anything and you want to know your imperial to metrics and all this sort of stuff, the Zeus book by Roebuck is where you want to be. I mean, as you can say, there is your standard drill sizes with your metric equivalents, etc. So that is kind of an essential. What it also gives you is your fine thread sizes, BA tapping drill sizes, British standard fine threads. So you've got your diameter, your chords, your pitch, your depth, etc, etc. There's all sorts of useful stuff on here. Morse taper sleeves, so it tells you how to work those out. There's also a bit of sheet metal in there as well, sheet metal bending for inside bend radiuses and stuff. So I can't remember how much this was. They're not a lot, they're not very expensive, so definitely worth having in your own. Okay, so we've just turned this end down. I've now got a measurement of 697. So on this, I'm going to go up 0.3 mil, which should take 0.6 mil off of there. So that should give me 0.637. So if we take 0.3, so that's there. Bring him up. Start him up. As you can see, it's taken very little. You can also see it's a little bit on the stringy side where it's coming off. There's not proper chips on this. This tool doesn't like this material at all. But take that off. That should land us in the vicinity. We'll just mic it up. There you go, look. There you go, look. 637 again. So by the time that's cooled off, that'll be 635, 634 maybe. Basically exactly where we want it to be. So we're going to call that bit done for the moment. Then what I will need to do is I'm going to turn about another 20 mil. I'm going to take that to possibly about 9mm, 10mm, somewhere around there. I've got some reasonably long 6mm bolts I can then use to go through a piece of box section where we want it. Yeah, where we want it, we can go through the box section and let's have a centre bolt in the middle, so we can just take the pressure up on the centre bolt, release the 3 remaining nuts on the clutch, and then just wind the bolt out, and that should give us what we need. So that's the next step. Leave it at that point for today. It's more than gone tea time. The dog's asleep on the workshop floor here. He'll be wanting to get home and get fed. So we're going to come back to this maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, because it's bank holiday tomorrow. We've got family commitments as well. So yeah. So we'll pick this up during the week some point and finish off this tool, and we can show you that the clutch coming off and accessing the trapdoor, as they call it. So on that point, we will see you all soon, hopefully. Don't forget, if you like what you've seen, subscribe, like, etc. Yep. Thank you very much. Goodbye.